Yo, brothers. What's happening? I'm away journeying this week, so my apologies that I can't be there with you in the live. But I'm sure that you guys are going to have an amazing time. And I wanted to make sure that you guys got the opportunity to discuss the piece I'm about to talk about, because it's a great thing to dance with, to try and understand the concept of. And that is the concept of selflessness. So selflessness. What is selflessness? Now, I used to think that being selfless meant that I would have the reason for doing things being for other people. I'm doing this because. And what I've realized is that doing anything with a because or a reason on it is actually selfish, because it's the self, the mind, coming up with the idea of why it's a good thing, creating the meaning, creating the language around it to say that it's a great idea to do it. So therefore it's selfish, right? Just like, I'm doing this for my own personal gain. Because if I'm doing it for personal gain, then therefore it's selfish. And even if the personal gain is because it feels good, you're still doing it for the selfish reason of feeling good. And selflessness, truly the selfless, is without the self involved, meaning presence. And it's adding on to what we spoke about last week, which is the three principles. The emotion, being able to feel fully, open to it, be aware of it. Then consciousness, being conscious of those thoughts and feelings and emotions. And then the greater love, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. So the reason that those three principles come into this again, and they'll come in again and again, because they are the fundamental three principles of living, of this human experience, and they always play a part and play a role. But the reason it plays in this is because if you are acting from the thoughts, the emotions, or the feelings, then you're therefore acting from the self. If they are influencing your decisions, they are taking away your sovereignty as a present conscious being, right? And so as soon as we can see the thoughts and going, I'm doing this because, then instantly, if we're aware of the nature of thought and emotion, then we can separate from that, be in consciousness and be aware of it and go, look, I'm acting from a place of thought, or I'm acting from a place of emotion, and I'm acting from a place of selfishness. So, what feels true right now? And this is where it comes back to that same question again. What feels true right now? What is true right now? And then feeling in deeper, beyond the mind, beyond the emotions, and being able to go, this feels true to do this action. Just like if you see a homeless guy in the street. Do you want to give him money because you feel sorry for him, or because he might need it, or because it's what a good person would do? Or are you doing it because it's what's true in the moment to give this particular amount? One day it might feel true that you don't give anything, and then another day it might feel true that you give someone $20, or another day it might feel true that you give them $2. That truth varies because each moment, it's meeting each moment without thought. So each time there's thought involved of, I need to do this because, then suddenly it takes away the beauty of the present moment and the truth. And it's really that simple, but I'm going to give some stories and some context to it, which are all going to point back to that same thing. So always remember that it's coming back to those three principles of mind and emotion, or mind, let's call the human system thought. Thought, of course, put upon emotion becomes feeling. So therefore we're experiencing our emotions through thought. Then we've got consciousness, and then we've got the greater mind. And if we always come back to those three principles and think about or feel into what feels true in this moment, then we're naturally going around circumnavigating that thought piece. Because we're recognizing that it is thought, it's not us, but it is us, and we're also all these other things as well. So, if you have a goal, a vision, a dream, an ideal that you're working towards, and you say, I'm going to change the world because I want to see a new world come? Are you acting from a place of thought, or are you acting from a place of truth and presence? Now, the same action could come from either, but the question is, which one are you acting from? I know for me, even last year when I was running all the retreats and everything, I had a moment after one of the retreats, the one down in Sydney, and I suddenly realized that I was doing that retreat because I felt drained afterwards, and I was going, what's going on? And I realized that I was still doing it because I wanted to change people's lives, because I wanted to do the work that I love, because it felt good to do it. And since then, it's been this huge journey of surrendering to what is. And as I've surrendered more and more to what is, that's brought me to the place where suddenly now I'm doing it because it's the thing in front of me. You know, I'm serving you men because it just so happens that when I've come back to just Garth and what I love to be and do in this world, then, and come away from that selfish mind of, oh, I'm doing all these things because of a reason, I've come to, oh, this is the thing in front of me, and I'm surrendering to what's in front of me. And it just so happens that this feels the most light and easeful in my journey to do this work. And so I'm not doing it because I want you to change your life, because that's me being selfish. I need an outcome from that. I then need to know how you've changed your life. I then need to know what impact that's having, rather than just being fully present and sharing what feels true to share. And then if you take something from that, that's great. But I'm not doing it because I need the validation. I'm not doing it because I need the recognition. I'm not doing it because I want to be so great in this world. I'm doing it because it feels true to do it. And I know that you'll take the pieces that you need to take. And some of you might take a huge amount of stuff from each call, each video, each whatever it may be. And the time that you get to spend with the brothers and the retreats and all the rest. Some of you might take a tiny bit. I mean, from what I know already is that you guys are taking heaps from it, which is beautiful. But that's the thing, is I'm not attached to whether you take huge amounts or not. I've definitely worked with a lot of people in the past where I used to go, oh, I have to be such a great coach, I have to be such a great guide, I have to know all the stuff so that I can validate myself with my intelligence and my intellect and make things as confusing as possible, really, using this modality, that modality, all the things and everything else, so that I can feel like I've done a great job and that you know that I'm so great to guide you along this journey. So can you see how there were the underlying threads of me trying to get something from my interactions with life, my interactions with clients, my interactions with anyone? Because it was all coming from a place, I'm doing this because. Just like, oh, I know that giving means that I'm going to receive, so I'm going to give. But my problem was when I knew that the acts of service and giving would bring to me, therefore in the act of giving I was thinking about the receiving, going, oh yeah, this is going to bring back to me. And it was frustrating as all heck, because I knew that I was putting my thoughts upon it, which was taking away the beauty of that present moment of giving. And so I learned to just come to truth. Does it feel true to give right now? And breathing into it. And really feeling into, does it feel true in this moment to give to this person? And if there is a yes to it, now there's no reason behind it. It's just a yes. And I can feel it and I know it to be from truth and not from my mind. I used to be a massive pleaser, which meant that I was always giving to receive. Even though I seemed like such a giving person, and I did love giving, but there was always, when I was younger, the sense of, oh yeah, but they're not doing that for me. Or I give so much, but they're not giving back to me. And that was because I was giving to get. I wasn't giving for the pure sake of giving and having that abundance and that feeling of giving within me. And just being like, wow, this is what's true for life to unfold in this moment, in this way, in this perfection. Here we go. Here's my time, my effort, my attention, or whatever it may be. And so ask yourself, have you been giving from a place of selfishness or selflessness? And how can you give from a more selfless place? And the answer, I think you'll find, is that it's in the selflessness. It's always in the selflessness. Always in the presence. Because in presence is the only place the self cannot exist. Anytime the mind is in there, you are acting from the self. If the mind thinks about what it's going to say before it says it, then it's the self that's creating that thought to then speak, rather than being in presence and allowing the words to flow from the beautiful present moment. Now, this plays out in many areas of life. It plays out in relationships, in finances, in business, in whatever area of your life you have. Do you look after yourself physically, nutritionally, because it feels good to do so? Or just because that, in truth, of course, it doesn't feel true to eat the cheeseburger? Like if I sit there and see the thoughts and see the emotions flowing and sit in the consciousness of, but that sits behind it, and therefore connecting in with that greater source, then does it really feel true to eat it right now? Not any of the other stuff. It doesn't have to be complex at all. It's just literally sitting there and going, does it feel true to eat this in this moment? And it might at times feel true to eat it. At times it might be like, yeah, it does feel true to eat it. But it's just such a simple way of being able to have that choice in each moment, because you're coming into truth out of the mind. Just like giving. When someone asks you to help them out or do something, or help them move house, for example, then before you say yes, say no. It's been a huge practice of mine to learn how to be selfless, is to say no, but I'll think about it. Or no, I need to feel into it at this moment. Or I might not even say no out loud, but I'll say it within myself, no. And then I'll breathe. Does it feel true? Oh, no, it doesn't feel true for me to say yes. And then being able to say, no, I'm actually not going to be able to support you in that. And then no justification, no reasoning, no otherwise. Others, the mind, because others that are living in their mind will want justification. They will want reasons behind everything. But does there truly need to be a reason? If it feels true not to do it, I invite you this week to practice not giving the reasons, but feeling into the truth of it. Because if you say because, if you're like, no, because, blah, 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 then obviously you've gone into your head to think about the reasons why it wouldn't work, rather than just feeling into the truth of it. Yes. Yeah, I would love to help you out with that. Or I would love to do this thing. Or yes, I would enjoy this part. Or in relationship, I need you to commit to me, baby. I need that level of commitment. I need you to tell me what you're committed to, what you're ready to commit to, blah, 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 blah. This is a recent one for me. Doesn't feel true for me to share about what I'd be willing to commit to, and otherwise I'm not sure why as of yet, or what the truth really is for me in this, but it feels like a no. I'm going to need to sit with this for some time to allow the truth to unfold. Then I sat with it for a few days, and then it started to come up, and I realized, oh, no, because my truth is to be committed to love, to open to love, and to have that as the only commitment in my life, to open to love, open to love, open to love. And then wherever my heart points, I'm projecting love. And so I got to bring that truth from within, which is a deeper place, rather than no because X, Y, Z. Oh, I'm not ready to commit because I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm not ready to commit because I've got this going on in my life, or I'm not ready to, or I can commit to this, but not this because of. And then suddenly it's all this complex, confusing situation that then needs to be spoken to at deeper levels and deeper levels and deeper levels going forwards, rather than coming back to what truly feels true. Just feel into that for a moment. Close your eyes. Just take a deep breath in and feel the breath coming down into your body. See if you can just drop deeper into that body with the breath. And just feel down into where truth exists. Deep down in the sacrum. And if the mind starts to go up, then to just calm back down. Just keep breathing deep, slow breaths. Each breath deepening your awareness, following the awareness down through the breath into the sacrum. And now from this place, with your eyes closed, still following that breath down, I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to feel into what feels true in this moment. Have you been living from a selfish place or a selfless place? Just feel into the subtle movement of energy in the body and notice what feels true. Now, with this knowing that you now have of whether you've been in a selfish or selfless place, which is most probably selfish because we as humans live mostly in the mind, and there may have been selfless acts that we have done at times, truly selfless. But it's okay to be selfish too. I know that a huge part of my journey to gaining more selflessness was to become extremely selfish, because I realized I was already being selfish. So I decided to be selfish in a more constructive way, which was having the reasons which helped me to start on this journey of guiding people. And then in time, I just became more and more present, let go of the selfishness more and more. And I still do selfish stuff. Of course I do. It's just less and less. And my selfishness may be, for example, bringing everyone together for my birthday. It felt true to bring everyone together. But also, I wanted to have people that I love around so that I could sit there and sit in awe of the humans that I have in my life. And so it's like, that's such a great reason. So in some ways it was from selflessness, in some ways selfishness, you know. And it's a constant journey. It's not easy to get from the head, because it's not from the head that selflessness exists. So it's only through experience, but by knowing it, planting the seed, it can start to call forth more of that selflessness. And so that your journey in this life can unfold more and more in a selfless way. Okay. Beautiful, brothers. So I'd invite you now to all sit down and come off mute and share with each other one at a time as to what landed for you during this. Can you get from this? What can you understand? What's not making sense? And how have you seen yourself show up in your life in these ways, whether selflessly or selfishly? But discuss that. I'm looking forward to watching the recording of this and hearing all of your perspectives and perceptions. And I am so open to questions on it. So maybe chuck any questions that you have after this into just do it on here in your shares at the end. If you have any questions or during your share, then please ask the questions, because I'm going to watch it as soon as I get back on reception. And yeah, let's do this together, brothers. Biggest love. Thank you. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm journeying right now as we speak, so rock on. Love, 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 brothers.